All right, well, I'd like to begin by introducing myself and the others from the program administrator team for today's traditional community solar random selection event for program year 25-26. I'm Mike Tancredi, Senior Marketing Manager at Energy Solutions. I'm also joined today by Patrice Flynn, Senior Program Director, Jess Blue, Community Solar Sector Strategist, and Nate Zeiler from our software team, who will select the projects during today's session. We're also very thankful to have the Illinois Power Agency with us today, including Program Manager Andrea O'Shea. And with that, I'd like to pass it to Patrice Flynn, who will introduce today's TCS random selection event. Patrice?
Thank you, Mike. Before we take a look at today's agenda, I'm going to share a few housekeeping items. Everybody is muted during the presentation. Please use the Q&A box for questions, but please keep these questions on the random selection process. We will answer as many questions as we can verbally at the end of today's presentation. Please note, as the reopening of the 2024 long-term plan is presently under consideration in an open docket proceeding before the ICC, any communication with the IPA or its program administrator regarding the substance of the plan are considered ex parte in nature and will be memorialized and filed as part of the record that proceeding consistent with Section 550 of the Illinois State Officials and Employees Ethics Act. Additionally, a video recording of the webinar, presentation slides, and post-webinar Q&A will be published at the program website following this meeting. So taking a look at the agenda, we've done our introductions. So next up, we'll do the overview of the random selection process. We'll do the project selection, next steps, and then we'll go to that Q&A at the end of the meeting. So for an introduction of the event, on June 2nd, 2025, which was day one of the 25-26 program year, traditional community solar capacity opened. For this program year, capacity available for the TCS category was 64 megawatts for Group A and 149 megawatts for Group B. Capacity was initially allocated to projects on the 2024-25 program year waitlist on June 2nd, 2025, leaving 0 megawatts of capacity available for Group A and 0 megawatts capacity for Group B for newly submitted project applications. When projects were awarded capacity for this program year, the 20% developer cap was applied and will reset for the 26-27 program year. To summarize the new applications submitted the first day of the program year, a total of 41.28 megawatts of capacity was submitted. 11.85 megawatts submitted to Group A and 29.43 megawatts submitted to Group B. After application submission, 3.7 megawatts of Group A capacity and 2 megawatts of Group B capacity was withdrawn. Therefore, 8.15 megawatts of Group A capacity and 27.43 megawatts of Group B capacity was reviewed by the program administrator. In accordance with the TCS scoring guidelines previously published in both the 2024 Long-Term Renewable Resources Procurement Plan and the 25-26 Program Guidebook, we scored all TCS projects submitted on day one of the program year and determined that a random selection event was necessary to break any tied scores and order the waitlist. I'll now pass it on to Nate Zeiler, who will give an overview of the random selection process.
So before I start the selection process, I want to share our methodology. We've scored all of the submitted projects for this year's traditional community solar block. Many projects have received the same score. In order to fairly create a waitlist order, we have to randomly sort the projects with tying scores. We do this through a process called random selection, using a command line script to generate random tiebreaker numbers. Why do we use a command line script? The short answer is that Excel does not allow audit-level transparency into how it generates random numbers without the use of Visual Basic. The command line script allows for full auditing and reproducibility of the results of the tiebreaker. The algorithm used for the selection of projects is written in the programming language Python and uses the basic function random. This function is commonly used in games and lotteries or any application requiring a random number. How does it work? The command line script works by generating a seed, a starting point for the random number generator, at the exact microsecond of execution time, and then outputs the requested number of unique random numbers between 1 and 0 to add to the project data spreadsheet. The projects are then ordered by project ID, and all projects receive a tiebreaker number. The microsecond ensures that the seed is impossible to predict. The granting of tiebreakers even to projects that were withdrawn ensures that the numbers are distributed fairly, and the use of the project ID ordering ensures that the process can be repeated by an auditor. Finally, the script merely generates random numbers and has no access to any of the project or scoring information whatsoever, ensuring that the randomness is agnostic of the selection process. I'll take over. Great. So first I'll show you the projects submitted to Group A on June 2nd, 2025, the first day of the 2025-26 program year. As a reminder, there's no available capacity in Group A and a current 156 megawatt waitlist. There were 2 projects submitted this program year. As you can see, there were no tied scores for these projects, so we'll not be doing a random selection event for Group A. Only one of these projects scored the minimum 5 points to be placed on the waitlist. So I will add project 164526 to the waitlist below the current projects on the waitlist. So you can say it was placed below the current waitlist in place 40. This is the updated waitlist for Group A. You'll be able to find these updated waitlists on the block capacity dashboard page of the Illinois Shines website following this event. I'll move on to Group B. These are the projects submitted for Group B on June 2nd, 2025. As a reminder, there's also no available capacity for Group B and a current 82 megawatt waitlist. There were projects that received the same score in Group B. To break the tie between these projects, I'll use the random number generator. Each project will receive a random 16-digit number between 0 and 1, and any projects with the same score will be reordered based on this tiebreaker value. I'll hide these columns. So first I sort by project ID from smallest to largest. This gets us a repeatably ordered list of projects since project ID is unique. And I see how many projects are in Group B. There are 8 projects. I use command line to generate, to run our script. I enter the number of projects that need a random number generator and hit enter. The script has generated a seed, a starting point for the random number generator based on the microsecond I hit enter. That seed generated a column of unique random numbers between 1 and 0 to add to the project data spreadsheet. So now that our projects all have a tiebreaker value, I'll resort our projects. They'll first be sorted by total points from highest to lowest, and then by random number. Sort by total score, largest to smallest, then random number, largest to smallest. This is our ordered list of projects for the Group B waitlist. You can see they're first sorted by score. For projects with the same score, they're then sorted by their random number. I'll create the rate list. All projects with a score of at least 5 will move to the wait list, ordered by score, and then their tiebreaker value, which is all projects for Group B. We'll add these projects below the current Group B waitlist. We'll double check they all have a score of at least 5. They're ordered by their score and then their random number. And double checking, no projects were missed and they are added to the waitlist in the correct order as well. This is our waitlist for Group B. And you'll be able to find this updated waitlist on the block capacity dashboard following this event. I'll pass it back to Jess to go over next steps.
Great, thanks, Nate. In terms of next steps, Projects that did not make it onto the wait list, which required 5 points, can reapply to the program at any time. As noted previously, the traditional community solar waitlist will be updated and published to the Illinois Shines website on the block capacity dashboard page. And any projects submitted after June 2nd will be prioritized and processed in the order received. And lastly, a recording of this event and communication of the results will be published within 3 days. I will pass it back to Mike for the Q&A.
Great. Thank you to our presenters today. And we do not yet have any questions, forgive me, but we'd be happy to answer those. If you haven't yet submitted one but would like to, please go ahead and submit that in the Q&A box, and we'll get to that today. We'll give you a moment to consider and submit any that you may have. Not seeing any, I think we can move forward. We want to thank all of our program participants and interested parties who attended today's session. We do appreciate you taking time and interest to participate in the process. The team will be available by email and at office hours to provide any further support or answer questions as needed, and we will soon publish results and materials from today's event as mentioned, including a recording, the presentation slides, and any questions and answers that we should receive. Otherwise, I think today's event is concluded, and we wish you all a great day. Thank you for participating, and please look for these results.